Hearty welcome everyone. Today I want to talk about Hornby's 1P 415 class locomotive number 30582, also well known as the Adams Radial tank. Alright, so if we look at the box by Hornby, great image of the locomotive, and as you can see with the real model locomotive in front of it, it's kind of a 3D look, and I'm really excited about this locomotive. It is absolutely amazing, and the special details by Hornby just really make it really authentic. So as you can see, it's a radius 438, and when I turn the box on the side, you can see the model number R3334. It's BR Late 442 Adams Radial 3082 DCC ready. Right, it's just an amazing locomotive, and thus I have to show you my coaches, my carriages that I use with this train. And they're also one of the newly launched coaches by Hornby. I'm just not so very happy with the wheels on them. They line up differently on the bogie than the older coaches, so they do touch and they make kind of squeaky noise. But on the detail front, it's just absolutely amazing, and it just makes the whole package great when you have these suburban coaches to go with the locomotive. Also very interesting, the second coach I have here is the second brake coach of the suburban coaches, and it's actually in a darker color. It's got a different running number, but also it's definitely part of the suburban coaches, so I don't know why the color is darker, but I still have to investigate. But I guess back in the days, the coaches weren't always the same color either, never mind the roof colors. Anyways, but getting back to the Adams Radial tank now. So the Adams Radial tank was designed by William Adams. It was built in 1882 on the South Western Railway, and it was developed from the early rebuilt LSWR 46 class. The 415 class locomotives were constructed at 9 elms. 71 locomotives were produced. So looking at the model, some really great details by Hornby. I love the satin black and red lining. It really stands out. And also the rear pivoted bogie and the front bogie is well sprung, some interesting finishes. I think these are improvements that were really needed to be done for the locomotive to run well over sidings and crossings, and star crossings and diamond crossings. But yeah, because I've heard of some faulty engines and with regards to derailments and running over crossings, so that's why I have not yet experienced that with this locomotive. So I can really say from slow pull away, slowly, faster speeds and reverse, no issues. This locomotive is really running well, and even going into the sidings, I've got no issues with it actually doing tight sidings as well. So on my layout it works fine, which I'm very happy for. Now looking at the locomotive, it came along with great packaging, the sleeve style packaging, which really protects it and really makes it feel more of a quality item that you've invested in, which is always great, meaning money spent well. So it also have loads of details to be fitted in the accessory bag, and a person don't always get the time to do these fitments, and a lot of these extra accessories really are so fine that you really have to concentrate by installing those, and just small things that could get lost on the layout in some sense, but it really finishes the locomotive and the authentic style of the locomotive. So really something to do, if not immediately, or at a later stage, definitely. But if you like me, would like to get the loco on the track and get it going. So now, also very interesting, the introduction of the Drummond FM7 led to the Class 415s being shifted to rural branch traffic. So, by grouping period in 1923, only 30 locomotives made it to the stockbook of the Southern Railways. By 1927, only 2 locomotives remained, and all locomotives were withdrawn by 1961. But, rewinding, and why this locomotive 30582? Well, locomotive 30582 was built in Darlington during September 1885 under works number 2608. Working service as LSWR 125. The number changed several times: 0125 in July 1911 and E0123 in July 1926, and then 3125 in November 1930. So following nationalisation in 1948, in April 1949, she received a British Rail number 30582 and was sent to the Fire Torch in December of 1961 in Eastborough to the cutting yard. It's so sad that so many wonderful locomotives were scrapped, and some of them gone and lost to us forever. But so most were scrapped by the end of the First World War. One did survive, and that's number 30583 in preservation at Bluebell Railway. It was due for a lot of repairs and scheduled for a complete overhaul, and that was last updated in 1990. So she was awaiting all these improvements and overhauls. So I'm not sure if it was done yet up till now. I mean, it's 2024. I have no idea if it's done. But as with everything, it all depends on funding, and funding is key. So overall, this is a beautiful locomotive to have on the layout, and having it run with the suburban coaches is also absolutely amazing. But sometimes, just to go back to a southern style, I do use these southern coaches, and that also helps. And then also having it just run as a mixed traffic little train, it really adds authenticness to the layout. And as everyone is aware, if you're not, my layout is basically running in the era from late 1800s to 1970s, basically end of 1970s. So it is a village growing and going through changes. And that is why I've got all these different locomotives, like a heritage line basically running there. But having said that, so I was all very happy, satisfied with the locomotive on my layout. It really runs well, all directions. I've got no issues, and it's one of the locomotives to me that really stands out when you look at finishes and details. And I just love all steam engines though, but this one is really special to me, and it was also a gift from my husband. So I really love this locomotive. It's very special to me. But thanks everyone for joining me once again and having a look at the Adams Radial tanker, and stay tuned for the next episode for the successor of this locomotive, which was the Drummond M7 locomotive. And if you stay tuned and just have a look at the next launch, that locomotive will be introduced. So if you have some time, get your biscuits, get your tea, get your coffee, and get anything that's nice to drink, and have a look at the locomotive run on the layout, as always, at Taraka 00 Railways with me, Elizabeth. Thank you so much for joining me, and really appreciate your viewings and your comments. So take care. Later. Goodbye.